and it was at, I believe, Biogen, where I did my first internship in that industry, where I helped them develop their molecular modeling department.
Oh,
And it
cool.
was just because I was, like at MIT, they expect you to know everything. So I knew a little enough about computers. I could do a little bit of programming. I could do bench science. I understood math. So when I was at Biogen, you have a bunch of biologists and chemists who are in the lab, and they don't know that much about computers. And I just saw they were just using it to make pictures. And I'm like, oh, this thing could be used for drug development. Like that's what it's designed for. And so I just took the initiative, and they let me run with it. And now they have a whole department doing that.
That's awesome. You had such a major impact there.
Well, I mean, maybe I just got in early or whatever, but it taught me a valuable lesson. I think that's the most important, which is what computer modeling is. And that's come up so much in the last 2 years because you have really what they say is the genome, the genetic sequence of the virus is just a computer model. It's not really in reality at all.
Right.
And also the predictions about the mortality that produced the fear, which made everybody, lock themselves away.
Right.
That also was computer models. And we see, how false those predictions were. So I had that knowledge to instantly know as soon as I heard computer model what that means and to not pay it, that it could be used as a tool of manipulation very easily.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it's great that you were there, you had the practical experience. And it sounds like the difference is like taking scientific postulates from the realm of abstraction and then taking them into actual application, and that may be where a lot of the breakdown lies. Is that correct?
Well, it's even deeper than that because so in the field of science, right? If you're talking about real science, okay? Because these days a lot of things are called science that don't really fit what it is. But what it
Yeah.
is it's where you can use the scientific method to answer questions about cause and effect relationships of natural phenomena.
Mhm.
So, why do clouds form? Oh, I think it's caused, by, people snoring in their sleep. Okay, so that's kind of a ridiculous hypothesis, but you could design an experiment using the scientific method and test it. And then you'd find out that that's actually not the cause.
Right.
But, we can look at, illness. That's a natural phenomenon, or it could be man-made also, by the way. Probably a lot of it is, but we can still use the scientific method to apply to that.
Mhm.
And what you have at present is you have what I would call consensus, pseudoscience or scientism,
Mhm.
which is that the authorities of the field, so it could be professor so and so, or it could be, director of, so and so government agency who's the scientific authority,
Mhm.
they put out a statement and say, oh, all scientists in this field agree that this is the truth, right? But that has nothing to do with the scientific method. In fact, that's a logic fallacy called appeal to authority.
Right.
Those logic fallacies go all the way back, to Socrates and Aristotle.
Yeah.
And I forget which one of them originally wrote about it, but you get the point. It's not new information.
Right.
And
It's
what
propaganda.
science it has its own built-in, system where you apply the scientific method to show a cause and effect relationship. And if you do that and no one can falsify your findings and your hypothesis, right, then it becomes a theory.
Mhm.
And then, it's useful and we can talk about it and, people have to accept it. They don't agree because it's how nature works,
Right.
right? It's not, so it doesn't matter if you agree with it or how many scientists agree. It's like the proof is, well, if that's the way nature works, then that's the way nature works, right? So,
Right.
of course, when it comes to illness, if they say, that it's caused by this or that, well, you have to use the scientific method and show that. And, nature will tell us through those experiments if that's actually the case. Because it doesn't matter what we think or agree about, that's the way to show a cause and effect relationship. And it's pretty simple. It doesn't require a lot. You just have to have an independent variable that's the cause, and you have your dependent variable, that's the effect.
Mhm.
And then you design an experiment to where you take the independent variable and you apply it and see if the dependent variable occurs
Mhm.
and if there's a relationship. And then you also do a control experiment where you do the exact same experiment, but you remove just the independent variable.
Mhm.
And that is the simple method, right? So, of course, there's one caveat that in order to do that, you actually have to have the independent variable, right? That's the cause. So
Right,
it has
right,
to be real. So I can't say the cause of thunderstorms are Martians operating a Martian technology
right,
because I haven't shown Martians. So
right,
I can't test it,
right.
right? But if I say that it's from, air traffic control broadcasts, well, that is a real thing. So it's not natural, but nonetheless, I can test it.